What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Random Mask Monday, and as usual, we'll just jump right into it. So this week's episode is going to be on something a little different, not Slipknot related, not really related to a lot of stuff that I put on my channel. This is a splicer mask from the video game BioShock. My girlfriend is huge into the BioShock series, and she's wanted one of these for a really long time. So I told her if she got one, blank, that's just regular standard 3D printed, I'd finish it however she wanted it done. The final result. So to start off, it's pretty much standard, just a bunny mask with some nice, I don't even know what it's called, filigree or some sort of fancy artistry on the outside, just sort of decorating it, making it look a little bit more elegant. Started with a black base coat on the mask to show off the details on the cracking of the paint. Of course, the white is the cracked. The cracking was actually a pain in the butt. For those of you who have been curious, I know I've got several messages about it. There's actually a gel that I used for this. I'll grab it for you real quick. Valspar Weathered Crackle Glaze. This stuff is it's acrylic. It's not really flexible, so I wouldn't advise using it on latex or foam. But as far as the plastics or 3D printed stuff, acrylic, urethane, things like that, plastics, fiberglasses, anything that's real rigid, this should be fine on. I haven't tested it on latex, so I don't know 100% sure as to what the effects would be. I know latex makes things crack anyway if you don't seal them correctly or if you don't apply the correct paints. So maybe it would just go with that, but it also could be something in itself. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure how much this is. She got it, so I can't give you a price. I'm sure Amazon, eBay, places like that will sell it. This is just the 473 milliliter. It's 1 pint of just Valspar Crackle Glaze. This stuff's kind of crazy to use too. It sets up, so you have to paint it on, give it some time, and then paint over it. So you would apply your base coat and then let that dry completely, give that about an hour. And then of course add this very thin, depending on the effect that you want to go for. I had to paint the bunny 4 times to actually get the desired look, and ended up just doing it in sections just to make it a lot easier. Because this stuff, being a glaze, loves to run, and the fact that it takes upwards of 2 hours for it to completely dry, it kind of beads up on itself and then eventually starts to run and just looks really gross. The main thing that I would take away from using this is to just have patience. Patience is the big thing. And 2, there's other ways to do this. Whenever I started sectioning the mask off, I actually had the mask setting up like this on the foam head instead of laid back and painting it long ways. And that made things a lot easier because whenever the glaze decided to run, it would just drip straight off the mask and not beat up and not have big build-up places, because the big build-up places don't want to dry. So whenever you come back 2, 3, 4 hours later, it's still like a squishy mess, and your paint literally just peels off with your fingers. So that's just my take on it. Do with it what you will. But yeah. So, with the added rust effects, of course, BioShock being an underwater game, I don't know much about the game. I don't know, I've never even seen this character. So, I just Googled images and started taking things and showing her the stuff we could do with it, and she just sort of kind of picked what she wanted to do, and yeah, we just went with it. So again, like I said, black base coat, white with the glaze. Of course, applying the black first, letting it cure, then setting the glaze, letting it dry for roughly about an hour to an hour and a half. Of course, just depending on your desired effect. And then just going over it with a straight acrylic, no fancy, house paint or anything like that. Just regular old Michaels or Hobby Lobby acrylic. And just run pretty thick through the airbrush. You don't want it to be the milky consistency that you would normally run an airbrush through because it just beads up. The glaze refuses the water, so it just beads up like oil and that sort of thing, kind of like chemical mixtures. And then of course for the details, again with this being an underwater mask, I wanted the mask to show wear and tear, but not just rust, but also more of corrosion. So you'll see a lot of greens along the base. along, of course, my camera is not picking up these colors at all. I used orange, brown, like a red mix, a real like red and black mix, and then a really bright green, because I used like copper corrosion as part of the desired effect. Of course, laying on the darkest color first, and then just dabbling on or dry brushing the reds and the oranges on, and then actually taking the airbrush once all that's dry, taking the airbrush and going over those colors with the green, and then just smearing them into the imperfections of the mask just to show more of like a tarnished look. Again, the video is not doing very good justice. Honestly, I haven't even been able to take really good pictures of this thing. It's a much better looking piece in person, but you'll just have to take my word for it. This is definitely something I've never done before. It was a venture that I was willing to take on because she wanted it, but I didn't really know what the outcome of it was going to be. And then, of course, just a basic 1-inch strap. I did kind of put a little bit of an end on it just to make it a little more fancy to kind of go with the rest of the mask. And then, of course, the back of the mask is just all the imperfections and stuff. You can actually see up here it's starting to crack. This was where I tested the mask and the glaze just to make sure that I wasn't putting the glaze onto the front of the mask and then ruining it. So I put it on the back of the ears. I figured there's big enough space for me to get an idea. And yeah, it went pretty great. Got some foam in here for some protection. I'm not 100% sure what shop she went through as far as like to get this mask. But as far as it goes, this is a very small mask. It's a very feminine mask. So if you are a male or even a lady with a bigger head, it's probably not going to fit. I can get to about my eyebrows on the edges. It's very tight fit, but fits her perfectly. Her head's very small. So that's my opinion before you guys start buying these up. But yeah, Etsy has plenty of people that are 3D printing them. There's also another, like, you can just Amazon this and stuff, and I think pretty sure that NECA's put out a couple with like the game and everything, the like special editions. But overall, I like it. It was, like I said, it was very different. It was something that I've never done before, and it was a challenge that I was willing to tackle, and I'm pretty positive that I tackled it head on and got a pretty decent result, especially considering that like I said, I've never played the games, I've never seen this character. I just went with what Google had, and then of course took inspiration from metal corrosion, metal rusting, just sort of natural effects, and just went with what I thought would look good. So yeah. If you guys like the video, definitely leave it a like. Comment what you think of the mask. Comment what you would like to see me do next. And subscribe for more content. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing